Welcome back, everyone. We're going to be solving LeetCode 1137, nth Tribonacci number. The Tribonacci sequence T of n is defined as follows. I'm not going to read all this out, but it's the same thing as the Fibonacci sequence, just one more number added on. So it's going to be the previous three numbers added together is going to give us our Tribonacci number. So again, another dynamic programming problem, and it's going to be pretty similar to the Fibonacci sequence. So we're going to have a helper function called underscore Tribonacci, and it's going to take in itself, n, and a memo object. So what are we going to do if n is equal to 0, right? They give us the 0th number is 0, so that's what we want to return. So if n is equal to 0, return 0. Okay, what about 1? 1 returns 1. So we will say if n is equal to 1, we will return 1. And then 2 also returns 1, so if n is equal to 2, we will return 1. Space these out a little more. Okay, so now we need to call make our recursive calls, right? So the base case would just be, or the brute force way would be to return 3 calls to our Tribonacci function for n-1, n-2, and n-3. So let's do that. We'll say self Tribonacci, and I think I spelled this wrong up here. I did. Tribonacci n-1, pass in our memo object, and then we will do this 2 more times for n-2 and n-3. Okay, but we do not want to brute force this. We want to memoize this. So instead of just returning this, we can store this in our memo object as the value, and then we can return that value at whatever number we're currently at. And then at the top here, we need to check and make sure, or if we have this value already stored in our memo. If it is, we want to return it. So we'll say if and in memo, we will return memo of that number. And then we can just return our helper function call up the top here. So return self Tribonacci of n, and we will pass in a memo object as an empty dictionary. All right, now let's run this. Perfect, we passed both test cases. We'll submit. Pass the test cases. And the time and space complexity for this problem is going to be O of n for both. All right, that'll do it for LeetCode 1137.